Right. And Zhikai, how worried are you as an Asian investor about rising rates or the talk of rising rates, rising inflation in the U.S. and how that links back to Asian economies? Because, you know, what the Fed does and what the Fed signals ultimately leads the way for policy making and policy decisions among central banks here as well.
Absolutely. I think we have experienced a little bit of a mini taper tantrum, shall we say, where we have seen a 10-year U.S. Treasury yields rise up in a fairly rapid session in the last couple of weeks. I think the key question that we need to ask ourselves is whether the rates rising are due to stronger growth expectation. And if it's due to stronger growth expectation on the back of a better recovery, as you can see from U.S. unemployment numbers and the further stimulus, I think this is manageable for Asian macro policymakers. However, if rising rates signifies higher inflation expectation, I think that's going to be more tricky. At this particular point in time, I think it's due to the former. So we've seen markets bounce back in a fairly nice way in the last couple of days as core inflation numbers came in a little bit better than expected overnight in the U.S. at this point in time. I think the key, unfortunately, for a lot of equity investors and certainly fixed income investors this year, the key question is really how well the major central banks manage the yield curve.
Right. As head of Asian equities at BNP Paribas Asset Management, Zhikai, very quickly, I want to understand from you, what have you been buying over the course of the last 3 months, and where are you in the rotation trade, sectorally?
Sure. To be clear, we don't really allocate based on country or sectors. So the various overweights reflect the sum of individual bets of the companies that we like, that we've done a lot of deep research work into. Right now, I would say on a sector basis, we are overweight IT, particularly in the memory and foundry space. We also like financials for market leaders where the structural growth potential is increasing as they take up incremental market share from their peers, or they're operating in much better and more attractive segments versus their peers. So IT and financials are the two sectors that we are more overweight right now, but that reflects the individual bets that we have in those two sectors.